everybody, it's Miss Peg here, and what we are going to be doing is looking at the first example of a word problem using our 7 steps. Now, 7 steps seems like a lot, but these are the same things your mind would be going through anyway. So I want to jump right in here and see how do we use these 7 steps. So, first, let's read the problem. So this problem says, at the end of the day, a pharmacist counted and found she had 4/3 as many prescriptions for antibiotics as she did for tranquilizers. She had 84 prescriptions for the 2 types of drugs. How many prescriptions did she have for tranquilizers? So that's the question. So step 1 is, what are we trying to find? So actually, what is the actual question they're asking us to solve? Well, they want us to find out how many prescriptions did she have for tranquilizers. So how many prescriptions for tranquilizers? All right, welcome to my poor handwriting. All right, so step 2, so that was what are we trying to find. Step 2 is we want to assign a variable. So I'm going to call it the variable t. I can choose whatever you want, whatever I want. So I'm going to use t because tranquilizer starts with t. It helps me to make an association. So step 3, you're going to write down, what does that variable represent? Well, t equals tranquilizers. Tranquilizers. That is the worst writing. T equals tranquilizers. If you guys don't know how to use these graphic pens, it's just terrible for me. I don't know. I'm poor at it. Okay, so step 4, this is the one that's usually the most tricky for every person because now you have to rationalize what is going on here. So what we do know is that there's 2 kinds of prescriptions. There's antibiotics, so I'm going to put anti. And there's tranquilizers, so I'm going to put trank. Those are the 2 together. And I know that she had 84 prescriptions for the 2 types. So for the 2 types, that means both those types together are 84. So I know that those together are going to equal to 84, okay, total. So let me put in here 84 total. Well, tranquilizers, we already assigned a variable t. So I'm going to put t equals 84. But over here, how can I write an amount for the antibiotics? Well, it tells me she has 4/3 as many prescriptions for antibiotics as she did for tranquilizers. Don't get too confused with this 4/3. Literally, it's 4/3 of tranquilizers. Those are stuck together with tranquilizers. So I'm going to write it like this. 4/3t, this amount of antibiotics plus this amount of tranquilizers should equal up to 84. Now, that is the equation we would come up with. So now we have to actually solve this equation in step 5, is solve the equation. How do we do this? So 4/3 t can be intimidating here, but look, I have like terms. I have 2 terms with t. I have to combine those like terms. But how can I do that? Well, this is like having a 1, and this is having a 4/3, and I would say just go ahead and change this into a fraction. So off to the side here, a decimal. 4/3 is the same as 1 and 1/3 because 3 goes into 4 one main time. There's a remainder of 1. And so you keep the same denominator. That's changing an improper fraction to a mixed number. When I do that, I actually already know that this is 1.33 because 1/3 is 0.33 on and on. Okay? So that's 1.33. The other thing you can do is just put 4 divided by 3 in the calculator. Change that fraction to a decimal. All right? So we are going to end up here with 1.33t plus t equals 84. Again, remember that's a 1 right there, 1t. So when I add 1.33 to 1, I get 2.33t equals to 84. Well, look, the coefficient on this variable t is the entire 2.33. They're stuck together, divide it out. That's the inverse operation. So since they're being multiplied, you're going to do the opposite and divide by that coefficient 2.33 on both sides. Those cancel out and I get T, otherwise known as tranquilizers, equals the result of 84 divided by 2, and we're going to kind of estimate there. Use your calculator, put it into the calculator, and your answer should come out to be 36. So T equals 36. That's step 5, solve the equation. So step 6 says to actually answer the problem, the question. So how many prescriptions did she have for tranquilizers? Well, T stands for tranquilizers, so we'll say 36 tranquilizer. Oh, I'm so bad. Tranquilizer. It's like this pen has a mind of its own. Boom. Prescriptions. So 36 tranquilizer prescriptions. You go back and see, does that actually make sense in the problem? Number 7 says, check your answer. So if I went back and I said, okay, well, 4/3 of 36 plus the actual 36 should equal out to 84. So you're going to take these numbers, times that, add 36, and checks out to be 84. You can check that there on your own. These are the 7 steps. I want you to try those steps for each of the problems following. And again, the only way you're going to get great at word problems is practice, practice, practice. So scrolling down this page, you'll have 2 more problems here to solve with some given space. Didn't write out the steps for you. Go back to your handout from the other day, as well as this problem here with the 7 steps written down. Try to complete those last 2. If you're in my class, hand in for credit. It's 100% for both the front and the back. You get 50 points for the front, 25 points for each problem on the back. If you are not in my class, but you just found this on YouTube, please feel free to grab the paper in the description or link below. And feel free to comment, like my video, subscribe to the teaching channel, The Miss Peg. In addition, feel free to send me a message if you want some answers, see if you got your questions right. So that's all for me. Signing off. See you on the next go-around of word problems. We'll be here all week long.